Recently I had the opportunity to perform at an evolution and cancer conference, and some of the originators of the field of Darwinian medicine were there, and they're of course deeply indignant that Darwinian medicine isn't a paradigm that's taught throughout every single medical school in the world, as it should be, because that's how we can understand where the diseases come from in the first place and why they happen. So I wrote a little epistle on their behalf, a sort of open letter to medical schools about Darwinian medicine. Here's I guess you can call it a differential diagnosis for Darwinian medicine. A potentially life-saving way of thinking about sickness that's met with symptoms of chronic disinterest by most of the medical profession. It's similar to myopia or tunnel vision, but it has to be different, since it's characterized by active resistance, a developmental glitch, a certain lack of perspective analogous to the blind spot caused by the optic nerve hidden in the back of your retina. It seems evolution via natural selection is invisible to physicians who never learned it in their classroom curricula. The mind fills in the blanks with ephemera, but unless a physician individually searched and found it, the blind spot remained and they just worked around it. Just like other vertebrates, but unlike evolution, medical schools could revisit the blueprint. Natural selection doesn't have a blueprint. It has genomes, but there's no plan for improvement. Every gene begins as a random mutant selected or discarded for its average usefulness. That's fitness, ability to get replicated, to get better represented in the next generation. That's the purpose of life. Nothing more, nothing less than blind, mechanistic, reproductive success. That may or may not be your purpose too, but that's the purpose that birthed you. The purpose your body was designed in service to. Not your health, but your genes and their ability to spread themselves. I'm not asking you how it feels to be a vehicle. I'm asking you how medicine can be improved by bravely facing the Darwinian view, the big why questions, and seeing where they lead to. There was a time when philosophers thought that every disease was the fault of the gods, but thanks to Darwin now that problem is solved. Natural selection is the ultimate cause. So why do we get sick? Not because a deity intends it. No, it's because the genes of parasitic microbes have intrinsically divergent interests. We want to kill them with drugs, they want resistance. We're in favor of the cure and they're opposed. Now don't forget to put their motives in scare quotes. A gene doesn't really want to spread, but it seems to, and it knows how to because of what it's been through. A virus wasn't made by intelligent designers, but it seems to have quasi-intelligent desires. If it wants to get to there from here with a kiss, a clever traveler would appear on your lips as a blister. She's so cute you can't resist her. One little smooch and the viruses disperse. Natural selection is a powerful predictor. Virulence increases when the spread is via vectors. The pathogens are quicker. So many generations for every one of ours, accelerating innovations, and yet we survive with anti-pathogen defenses because our immune systems mimic natural selection. So why do we get sick? Because the modern world is full of empty carbs and novel problems. This is not like the world that we all evolved in. Delayed fertility, hormones, novel toxins, cigarette smoke, and asbestos. It's best to stay away. Don't let your respiration get close. The difference between now and the distant past is significantly drastic, creating mismatches. Some parasites help the immune system learn. Crohn's disease is treated with live eggs of whipworm. And yes, I'm disturbed, but I get it. We're descended from people with worms in their intestines. We're also descended from microbes. So why do we get cancer? Once again, Darwin gives us some answers. Multicellularity, a gentleman's agreement between a bunch of cells with identical genes and a plan to spread them by moving evolution up from cell level to organism level selection like worker ants. The individual cells in the somatic line bravely inhibit themselves and leave the reproductives to spread the genes. A tumor is when somatics begin to cheat and move selection down to the cells where it used to be. The body is the bounty and the tumor is the mutiny. Why do we get sick? Because even a mother and infant have divergent genetic interests. The fetus wants every ounce of nutrients it can get. The mother wants to save strength for the next kid, and the result is preeclampsia, gestational diabetes. An arms race, because babies are quite greedy. They mount the attack on mom and she responds. See, Darwin can even teach us what a fetus wants. This is how powerful evolution is. It makes testable predictions that are counterintuitive but potentially lead to life-saving new treatments. So what should we do with the true believers? If you reject evolution because of the Old Testament, should you get the new medicine or the old medicine? Of course, a life should be saved if it can be saved, but physicians need to take a stand and lead the way. The burning bush is a tree of life. So peer into the blind spot. You may not find God, but you might find a way to alleviate suffering. For a doctor, hey, that's something. Thanks. Alright, so one little section of that turned into another microbiology track. There's this whole concept of cells shifting their focus from helping the reproductive line to becoming self-interested and just propagating their small percent of the somatic line. So then I thought, what would that decision